Stop losers. That was, you know what? You've had it too good. I'm leaving it in. So, we're, I don't know how many days into this Settlers 2.0, Necro Settlers, whatever Grinding Gear Games is calling it these days. The league that it isn't. And I'm level 93. I've just finished getting my Void Stones. Well, the initial two at least. I've been kind of slow rolling it, I won't lie. That's just, you know, it's not a real league. I hate to put it that way. But I have put in enough hours. I mean, 29. Actually, a bit more than I thought. You know what? Some of that's AFK'd. Anyway, the build's doing well, which, I mean, the whole point of this venture was to determine if Kitava's Thirst Corpseblaster was actually performing as well as I thought it was, because quite frankly, I haven't touched it in a little while. And the answer is yes. This build is still absurdly good for a league start and probably has plenty of room to be pushed for like higher content as well. Currently, I don't even have my 6-link. I'm on my 4-link setup. So big damage loss there. Obviously the 4-link setup and the helmet is another thing. I have Awaken Fire Pen now, but I literally just bought that. You can see it in my trade here. I did not have that when I was doing the Pinnacle bosses, which put that in the background. Not my cleanest kills, but again, no 6-link. And also, probably more important, just to kind of add a little extra weights to my legs while I did all this, no Desecrate setup. This is entirely unearth-based, and those fights went very well. The build is actually much tankier now. That's the biggest thing I noticed. I believe it's 2. Yeah, I have 2 deaths. One of them was at the very start of mapping to chaos damage from a ritual before I had chaos res. I still don't have much chaos res. I have -5%, but the build still holds up all the same. That was unfortunate, you know, kind of unavoidable. The other one was to a DC, which really sucked. I threw a fit over that, but, you know, whatever. DCs happen. This is why I don't play hardcore. Or however that meme goes. Anyway, the Pinnacle fights went well. I'm still on the Nexus Glove setup, which isn't quite as good as, like... Well, actually, I shouldn't say I'm still on the Nexus Glove setup. I'm still only on Nexus Gloves. I have Nexus Gloves and the Mastery, and I was able to get through all of this just fine. I should have swapped out this Life Flask that honestly doesn't even do anything anymore for me for a second Mana Flask, just to have better uptime during the fight. That's like the one issue I ran into, because again, the mana isn't that great. I could have probably sprung for a Watcher's Eye, a really simple one, and gotten that, and just wouldn't have had that problem, right? But even with just this sparseness, the build, it functions. It does what it's supposed to. It's not like ultra comfortable, especially in longer fights, which is pretty well demonstrated by how the Pinnacles went, but it gets done what it's supposed to. The most expensive item I have is my Light of Meaning, which I picked up because I knew DPS was going to be sparse, and I was having bad luck with 6-linking, and I found an Enlighten, which was worth like 5 div, and I was like, I don't want to sink multiple Divine Orbs into fusings and potentially still lose. So I went for this instead. This is like 100% increased damage. Very nice. My weapon is fine. It's fire damage, physical skill gems, trigger, everything you want in your weapon. I'm guessing someone had this drop for them from Betrayal. Ultimately, things would get a lot better when I finish making this into a proper weapon. It's just... I can either keep spamming it with essences, or I can hit it with an essence and I can get another one and put +1 fizz on it and try to recombinate, which I probably will do. My town isn't terribly far along. It's very well done. Like, I've started shipping now. I have mining upgraded all the way. The town's upgraded all the way. Farming is close. So, like, that's all just getting started, and I do plan to keep playing the character and really, like, looking a little bit beyond just getting to proper endgame mapping scenarios. So things have been good. I have to 6-link this, and then my 6-link Unearth setup comes online. I already have an Empower. This actually dropped for me, so that was fun. I don't think I've ever had Empower drop for me on a build that actually needed it. It's always the other way around. My Amulet does not have the Essence Craft on it, nor does it have +1 physical, which is a terrible idea. I don't even know that this is... Okay, I need it for strength right now, mostly. But yeah, it's like the stat requirements are not that important. Or rather, I should say they're easy to meet currently. Literally all this is doing, more or less, is giving me some resistance. It's actually... actually, looking at this is terrible. This is so bad. I'm kind of more proud of myself that I got through this. Probably my other best item is my shield, which I put a lot of emphasis on this item. This one was a full Divine Orb. It got an increased chance to block. spell block, reduce damage from extra crits, and then it also has a nice bit of life and a res on it, which I consider this very good. I may never replace this, honestly. And that's just fine. Passives. I believe, yes, I have not gone back and unspec'd my Alira passive yet. That can be changed pretty soon. A lot of my gear isn't very good, and I'm going to get a lot of resistance, and as soon as that happens, I get a skill point back. As soon as my weapon switches, I get some skill points back from getting to unspec from Elemental Overload. And yeah, the build's going to get a lot stronger pretty quickly. I have a floating point right here that will be used to grab some jewel sockets in the future, and that'll probably be when Watcher's Eye comes around. And I haven't even gone looking for like the perfect Determination Clarity Eye yet, but the build has been... I don't have this anointed either. That's comical. The point being, though, the build is very strong still, and I would say it feels much tankier. I feel like I have less than I did on my other character, but it's probably not far behind it, survivability-wise. A big part of that being, obviously, you can do that with your body armor now. We could not get 3,000 armor and then a good ES roll on an old body armor before. The other pieces of gear would be similar, but again, none of my equipment is very good. I don't even have cooldown reduction, like the passive, which getting a little bit is important because of how the server tick updates. I don't have +1 all max res on my body armor yet. I've been unlucky with a lot of stuff, and it really has not slowed me down that much. The biggest thing that slowed me down was I actually spent a whole day hunting for the trigger craft because I forgot it's not in Betrayal anymore. So this probably should have been out yesterday or maybe even the day before, which is genuinely pretty hilarious, honestly. I laugh about it. I'm honestly not even upset. I'm sure everything worked out the way it needed to for a reason. Atlas Tree is kind of just a generic find scarabs, have shrines, essences, and strongboxes going tree. It's working. I make a lot of money on scarabs, honestly. It's actually surprising how frequently I find high value ones. And essences are huge value right now because chaos orbs are low value. And anytime that happens, essences kind of climb in general value because they're very static and they're consistent. Obviously, duplicating stuff from your strong boxes has massive payout potential, and just guaranteeing strong boxes in general and shrines adds a bunch of mobs to your map, so you get good gold income for your town, which is why, even though I haven't been keeping up on it as probably as well as I should have, it's pretty close to done, which is nice. And once that's done, I will have a recombinator, like I will have access to a recombinator, and I can probably get a really good amulet and a really good weapon going in a way that this build couldn't before. Like making the item was incredibly prohibitive, and it's not now. And that's one thing I really want to explore and kind of show the effect of in this build, because Unearth can get back to what strength it was at. That's very important. Currently, it's only 22, which means the corpse levels are 74, which means this isn't even as strong as a level 20 Unearth before the nerfs. But we're getting 2 levels to the corpses every additional level over 20, which isn't how the scaling used to work. So eventually it will get back up to that 84, 86 point, and build's gonna feel really good, which isn't to say it doesn't feel good. It's still very good. Detonate Dead is such a stupid skill. It really is. And the reason why it works so well, especially in the league start scenario, is once you kill one enemy, even if the Unearthed corpses are weak, suddenly I have that enemy's corpse, and that thing is going to be strong. Even if the Unearthed corpses are weak, it's going to be as strong as the map baseline, and everything's going to die. If you're doing like a Maven invitation and you kill one boss and the other bosses are around it, they all just disappear, because Detonate Dead, baby. That's how it works. Anyway, yeah, just wanted to get this out there with a check-in, because I haven't been able to play for long periods of time, so streaming hasn't really been an option. So I wanted to get this out, quick 10-minute little checkup on how things are going. The build feels very strong. I'm very, very happy with it, and I can't really stress that enough, because I wasn't planning to take this build any farther than I currently am, but now I'm ready to play for another week or two, you know? It's actually turning out to, first of all, Necro Settlers is a lot more fun than I thought it would be. But yeah, the build in general is performing way better than I thought, and I'm excited to see how far it can go, and just where things are for me. First thing I probably need to do is just get like a generic placeholder amulet and then some anointment on it. I could like go aggressive Bastion for some free endurance charge on kill, and that would be a real nice little placeholder for a little while. Otherwise, I don't really know. I need to look into that now. And I would really like to get to the end point, and this is the part that's probably most relevant to people who are interested in the build. I would like to get to an endpoint where I feel like I've kind of done what I can, and then maybe explore a little and see if there are options, new options that I just really haven't picked up on that would let me push the build farther than it currently is. And yeah, I probably need to go ahead and test a Desecrate brand now that I've kind of completed my goal without it and see how much stronger it is. That's all. Get out of here, loser. No, I shouldn't say that. I love you guys. Have a good one, Exiles.